You be a hero, your nails lovely. Sexy, your body, I want to stitch it up. Sexy, sexy, you sexy. Sexy.
This my bitch, yeah. One fight, all fight, we'll play fair, period. Yeah, step 34, yeah. Bring out those shoes from both pairs.
Wow.
From your body, good. Bonify did a problem, so tell us about them all.
Okay, everybody got a sweet mama.
I think it's 2 pieces in it. Yes. I hear a master now, man. I want to knock it on off the fire. Jones Ford. Grand Crystal Bar on my give me shoes that you could have got up.
Anything over we ever find out. I'm in a city, wanna be calling you.
Leave the fear from them alone.
Coming like
Certified.
Atlanta 911, operator 310. What's the address of your emergency?
I don't know. I'm in the road. Somebody shot us. Yeah? Yeah?
Where are you?
I don't know where I am.
Hello, sir. I need to know
I don't know where.
I need to know what street you're on.
I don't know which street I am because somebody shot in them. Huh?
Someone shot at your car?
No, somebody shot in my car. I'm one driver.
Okay, listen. I need to know where you are.
Lindbergh Drive.
Lindbergh Drive and what?
And I can't get. I'm scared to somebody shot me to see it.
Lindbergh and what? Piedmont?
Lindbergh and yeah.
Piedmont?
Somebody
Listen, sir. I want you to listen, okay?
somebody killed in my car.
Okay, listen. I need to know where you are. Are you at Lindbergh and Piedmont?
Lindbergh, you need to get out from the car and I see.
Huh?
Lindbergh and the Adina.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to put the ambulance on the line. Hold on.
Okay.
Grady EMS, operator 992. What's the address of your
Hey,
emergency?
Grace, Atlanta. He said he's at Lindbergh Drive and Adina Drive. Lindbergh and Adina because someone's been shot in his car. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, somebody shot in my car. Huh?
Spell your street name for me.
Lindbergh and Adina.
Atlanta, can you spell that for me?
Lindbergh, Grady. Lindbergh. Lindbergh. Adina, Adina Drive.
Okay, yeah, it's not locking for me. Give me 1 second. Atlanta, did the address lock for you?
Yes.
And sorry, is someone shot or did someone shoot at your car?
Yeah. Somebody shot in my car.
Or you've been shot?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm shot. But somebody shot. My customer.
Okay.
Sir, are you saying someone is inside your car shot or just your car is shot?
No, somebody in my car is shot.
Okay, the person, is they breathing?
Yeah, I see some breathing.
Do you have it yet, Grady? Lindbergh Drive and Adina Drive. Someone shot in his car. What kind of vehicle you're driving, sir?
Cadillac, SUV.
What color?
Black.
You said a black Cadillac, is that correct?
Yes.
And turn your flashers light on, please.
Huh?
Turn your hazard lights on.
Huh?
Your flashers. Turn your flashers on. What's your phone number in case we get disconnected? Okay. You advise someone in your vehicle is shot. Atlanta, can you go ahead and request PD and fire?
310.
Atlanta 911 non-emergency, operator 0688. How can we help you today?
Hello, this is ADT Security. We're calling to report a mobile panic alert for an Uber customer. He stated he ordered an Uber for a friend who hasn't arrived to his location yet, and the driver's location is showing to be in one spot for a long period of time.
Okay, what is that location?
That location looks like 760 Lindbergh Drive, Northeast.
See, 760 Lindbergh Drive, Northeast?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I do have the vehicle description and license plate.
Okay, I'm ready.
That's a black 2018 Cadillac Escalade ESV with a Georgia license plate. L as in Lincoln, M as in Mary, 11. H0e.
Black 2018 Cadillac Escalade, track number L like Larry, M like Mary, 11089.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who's supposed to be, who did he order the Uber for?
The female's name.
And
he did state when he last spoke with her. He activated this emergency alert at 4:34.
4:34. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. What time was she picked up?
He did not state that. He did say she was supposed to have arrived at his location by 4:31, and she had not.
What's your callback number, ma'am?
And that is followed by a reference number if you needed to call back at 467-5975.
467-5995.
5975.
597. And you said she was in a black Cadillac?
Yes, ma'am.
It's
It's going to be almost right there at the corner of Lindbergh and Adina.
Okay. Hold on one moment for me, okay?
Okay.
And we pick back up with that breaking news we've been following for you right now at 8:30. We know that a woman is dead after a shooting in Buckhead on Lindbergh Drive.
So we want to check in with our very own Rebecca Schramm. She has been out there talking with investigators and gathering details. So Rebecca, what have we learned about this?
Well, Lana and Rob, we just got an update from Deputy Chief Charles Hampton, and he tells us this was a targeted shooting. We want to show you what we're seeing right now. They just loaded the woman's body into the medical examiner's van here on Lindbergh Drive. We've got a number of apartments around here, so a lot of people have been watching outside their apartment windows as all of this has unfolded this morning. Police have been out here for about 4 hours. It was about 4:30 when they first got the call of a person shot, and we were just talking with a man who told us that he came out and the only vehicle he saw at that moment right after the shooting was that Cadillac Escalade. Police tell us at the moment that it was being driven, it was being used as an Uber. The driver must have a limo license as well, because we can tell there's a limo tag. So you know how sometimes drivers will drive for a limo service, they might drive for Lyft and Uber. Well, at this point he says the driver was driving for Uber. That driver is being cooperative, talking to police about what happened. From what they've been able to gather, the other vehicle involved in this incident was some sort of sedan. They're not sure of the color of that sedan, just that it might have been a light color sedan, but several witnesses have described a vehicle sort of like that. Listen to what Deputy Chief Charles Hampton told us about another incident.
We also know at around 4 o'clock this morning at Lennox and Buford, there was another property damage with vehicles being shot at, and we're trying to work very closely to see if that is related to this incident as well. Right now, we don't have much to give out. Various witnesses have said that there's some type of sedan just due to the daylight and the nighttime and the lights at night. We don't really know the vehicle color. It might be a light colored sedan. So right now we're just asking anyone if they saw anything, heard anything, to call Crime Stoppers where they can remain anonymous.
And you're taking another live look here at the scene on Lindbergh Drive. They're continuing to take photographs and gather evidence, including a whole bunch of shell casings from bullets. From what we understand, we asked if there were multiple shooters. The answer was yes, but more than 2. The detectives just aren't sure at the moment. They're, of course, having to process this scene and the other scene to try to piece this all together. That scene nearby at Lenox and Buford Highway. So as we continue to get more, we will certainly let you know. Again, we don't have the woman's name, just that she is 30 years old. They just removed her body from the scene. We did see a woman who showed up around the corner a short time ago. She was very distraught. She claimed that the victim was her sister, but we were unable to speak with her. She just was not in a state where she could speak with us. But as we said, we'll continue to gather information and we'll let you know as soon as we learn more. Live in Buckhead, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
God, that is scary. Typically, you pay a little extra money for that Uber version of the limousine where you feel a little safer, you feel a little more comfortable in there. So that really just is very scary.
And even though police haven't shared a great deal of information, you get the feeling that they're already on the trail of maybe finding out who these shooters were. Of course, we'll continue to check in with Rebecca throughout the morning.
We are learning more about an Uber passenger shot and killed in Buckhead, and police are telling 11 Alive that they believe that woman was actually targeted and her killer is still on the loose. 11 Alive Bobeth Yates is live close to where it took place on Lindbergh. So Bobeth, what's the latest?
Well, Ron, we found out the shots were fired at this intersection behind me. In fact, that second lane right there. And as police investigate, they're asking anyone with information to come forward.
It was rapid fire. It looks like she went down to the floor for cover.
Jahari Humbles described the shooting scene at the intersection of Lindbergh and Adina Drive.
You could see that, something pretty bad had happened, and there was one person that didn't survive.
According to Atlanta Police Department, officers arrived on scene to find a person shot in a black Escalade being used as an Uber. We're told the passenger who was in the back of that vehicle was struck multiple times after a car drove up next to it and began firing into the vehicle.
This appears to be a targeted incident. As you can see the number of shell casings. There were multiple shooters. But again, we just don't have a whole lot to give out right now.
Police have not released the victim's name, but neighbors identify her as Tisha Brody and said she moved from Guyana with her brother.
It turns out she only lives in the next block, so she was less than a block away from home. I think they just caught her at the red light. It looks like that she was ambushed.
Police also tell me the driver of the Uber was not injured. And again, they're asking anyone with information to come forward. The number to Crime Stoppers is 404-577-TIPS. Live in Buckhead, Bobeth Yates, 11 Alive News.
And Bobeth, hopefully someone will come forward. Thanks a lot for the update. By the way, folks, we're going to stay on top of this story, bring you any new details on air and on live at 11alive.com.
Loved ones gathered to honor the life of a woman gunned down in Buckhead.
Investigators say 31-year-old Tisha Brule was shot while riding in the backseat of an Uber. Atlanta News First Carly Barnett spoke with people who knew her at a vigil tonight. Carly, good evening.
Good evening, Sean. Rick, we are much closer to that memorial now. If you saw us at 9:30 and 10, we had to stand a good distance back from the sheer volume of people that were out here to pay their respects to Tisha Brule. Let's take a look. They have balloons out here, flowers, candles form the shape of a heart, and her nickname down here, Tavi. There were a lot of heavy hearts out here tonight. Her friend says Tisha Brule just wanted everyone to have a good time. She said she had goals that she was working toward, and it was devastating to see those goals cut short. People came together Thursday night, placing candles and balloons near Lindbergh and Adina Drives in Buckhead, right near where 31-year-old Tisha Brule was shot and killed early Tuesday morning.
I honestly never would have thought that something like this would happen to her. This is not what I saw for her.
Her close friend Megan said she was a wonderful mother to her daughter and an aspiring dance hall artist.
She just always had a song in her head.
So she couldn't believe it when she learned her friend, so full of life, had been killed.
I know what that means when somebody asks you where you are before they tell you something. So I knew at that point that something had happened to her, something really bad had happened to her.
Atlanta police say she was shot while riding in an Uber and the attack appears to have been targeted. But those who knew Tisha say they will remember the woman who always wanted to make others happy. Clearly a woman who was so very loved. We did check in with Atlanta police tonight. At this point, they have not said there are any updates in this case. They still have not made any arrests. Live tonight in Buckhead, Carly Barnett, Atlanta News First.
Last 5 days has been a complete fucking nightmare. So I took this contract job, and it's the type of contract job that I seldomly do because there's all kinds of stipulations usually added to it that I'm generally not cool with, but it's a lot more. Like, usually it pays out 2 to sometimes 3 times more than I normally get on contract jobs that I do. And so one of the stipulations was that I had to partner up with somebody and leave town and stay in a hotel. And that's something that I generally don't do because, it just, I really don't like to, I don't even like people to be in my close personal space when I'm fucking driving somewhere. And so at first I wasn't going to do it, but then I spoke with the company that I was supposed to be contracting out with, and they assured me over the phone that it was going to be a very experienced dude that's actually one of their managers. They wanted a 2-man team type of thing. But when I got to the point that I was supposed to go to pick up the company vehicle to go out where I had to go, just my motherfucking luck, they lied to me. No. They said he took off sick because he had to deal with some issues. And who did he get replaced with? Roll the fucking drums. Well, I ain't got no drums. I got my chest here. Roll the drums. Some stupid ass, young ass, immature ass, talk too much ass, little 19-year-old bitch that just started with the fucking company a month ago. And I just thought to myself, okay, not so bad. You just gotta get in this fucking truck with this bitch, drive out there, do the job, get it done, 5 days, get paid. Most of the time you'll be in your hotel room. Got in the truck. The bitch was talking shit the whole fucking time, just running her fucking mouth. Thought she was so fucking smart, trying to tell me what way to drive and all this dumb shit. I'm telling you, at a truck stop, I almost got out that motherfucker and told them I'm not doing this. But I went ahead, clenched my teeth, and I had to work with this bitch and deal with this bitch for 5 fucking days. The only fucking peace that I fucking got was when I was in my motherfucking hotel room. That was it. And when I put the bitch on ignore, what did she do? She got on the phone, intentionally being loud and dramatic as hell with her girlfriends, talking about, some dude that her sister is fucking with, and, how he got 3 baby mamas and she shouldn't be fucking with him, and, he ain't shit, untrustworthy dude. And, seriously, dude, I really, as a Marlboro man, I had to maintain my composure because I'm not even going to tell you the type of thoughts that was going through my fucking head. But I said this, if y'all scroll all the way back in my videos, well, I don't know, it might actually be on private, but if you scroll all the way back on my videos, you'll see that I had actually done a job like this before with a different company many, many moons ago, and I recorded it. I didn't do it this time because, this little bitch, while she was a dumbass young bitch, she would have been, kind of privy to what I was doing because, she knew how to work a phone. She had an iPhone, I had a Droid, but still, she would have figured out that I was recording a dumbass. So I didn't do it, but if you go back to 2018, I did this type of gig once before, and I regretted it. That time, I actually had to get on a plane with a bitch and fly all the way out to the West Coast. And, oh my God, it was good pay, but it was just a fucking nightmare. But thankfully, at least we had rooms on separate floors, and I just gritted my teeth and had to do what I had to do. But yeah, I did it because I was kind of in a financial jam, so That's over with. Today is the last day. Didn't have to work today. Well, yesterday was the last day of work, so I'm supposed to be headed back, but oh my fucking God. But you know, it's funny because this experience, as terrible as it was, it kind of combined with this story that I actually initially had no intentions of doing a video about whatsoever. But the type of things that have been racing through my head, the stress, the anger, the frustration, the would this bitch please shut the fuck up, the why did I do this to myself? Why did I do this to myself? All the shit that going through my fucking mind. And then in the midst of it, like right at the beginning, like the night before I was supposed to pick this hoe up, I heard about this story in Atlanta about this yellow bone, big booty stripper bimbo and so-called social media influencer that got lit the fuck up at this intersection and killed. They said, I've heard somewhere in the ballpark of about 40 shots were fired at this bitch, and there are rumors, hold up y'all, this bus going past. There were rumors that she was shot at least with half that lead that went flying into this luxury Uber that she was riding in. Wait, I better, because I'm walking against the wind right now. Okay, so she was hit with about 20 of the 40 shots that were fired. And police didn't say specifically how many rounds, but several people on social media said it was about 40 shots. And apparently this was an Uber that had been ordered by some quote-unquote guy friend of hers to pick her up from her home in the Bucktown section of Atlanta, which from what I hear is a high-end area of Atlanta, and take her to his house at like 3 to 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. And apparently somebody was trailing this bitch, and this was just a couple of hours after she left this strip club that's infamous but popular at the same time in Atlanta called Allure, where she worked as a stripper. And so somebody trailed her getting into the Uber, and you know, the working theory right now is that she was targeted, but since the Uber was ordered through the name of somebody that wasn't her for her, you know, people don't know that, you know, it could possibly be that they were actually trying to target the dude that ordered the Uber and thought he was in it. But then there was a report from the Atlanta police, as you heard in the intro, they said that somebody was going around randomly shooting at cars earlier in the day, and you know, they were trying to figure out if this may have been part of that. But the overriding majority of people believe that this bitch was specifically targeted for assassination. Now, like I said, you know, she's one of these popular thoughts that literally lives her ratchet, ignorant life to be the most literal definition of an attention whore. Okay? So, you know, it could have been any of a number of people that were her enemy targeting her. But the main theory is that she was targeted in this shooting attack because she has a reputation for, well, doing what Cardi B did, and what we've been talking about for the last year is happening to these niggas that call themselves passport brothers, going down to South America and fucking with those whores down there. The working theory is that she got shot because she was setting niggas up, luring them to second locations, mostly from the club, but also from online. She had a OnlyFans page and an Instagram page, and word on the street is she was setting dudes up, and she had some goons or some sketchy ass niggas that she would meet with behind the club from time to time. Like, I guess in between her performances or whatever, when she was on her breaks, and other strippers were, or people claiming to be strippers, because, you know, you can never 100% trust what you hear on the internet, but some bitches that claim that they did work, quote unquote dancing at the same club, Allure, they said that, you know, they knew that she was fucking with sketchy dudes, and sometimes they would see her across the street or behind the club with them in a car, and then, you know, she would come back in. But yeah, word on the street is she was setting dudes up, and in one of these setup gigs, there was some type of shootout, and somebody got killed in the shootout. Now, I don't know, I'm assuming that all this went down in Atlanta. Hold on, y'all, let me let this fucking truck pass. So, they didn't give details, but they were saying she was a setup queen, and in one of these cases, there was some type of shootout, assumably between the goons and whoever they was trying to rob, and somebody got killed, and then somebody else didn't like, you know, the outcome of that, and this was like a big somebody, and I don't know if the person that was the victim was related to them, or, you know, in their gang, or if it was the actual person themselves, but somebody didn't take too kindly to that, and they decided to teach this whole a permanent lesson about being a scandalous ass bitch. And so, you know, they put together a hit crew to roll up on her ass, you know, like some Italian mafioso style shit. I mean, you know, like some Tupac at, what was that, Flamingo and Koval Street, I believe, on the Vegas Strip, September 7th, 1996. Like when Biggie Smalls got lit up at Wilshire and Fairfax in LA, outside the Peterson Automotive Museum. Like the killing of Italian mob boss Paul Castellano outside of Sparks Steakhouse in 1985 in Manhattan. I mean, they came for this bitch, you know, assuming that she was the target, and it wasn't a case of mistaken identity. They came for this bitch, and they came hard for her ass. You know, like, I mean, this was like a straight up professional hit. Cause, you know, when you look at the scene and they back off of it with the police drone, you can see shell casings all around the car. So they shot all around this car, and they said that it was at least 2 gunmen in a light colored vehicle, though the vehicle wasn't described by make and model. And they didn't hit the Uber driver with all those shots. And when you look at the close-up of the Uber, which was a Cadillac Escalade, a later model Cadillac Escalade, you don't see the general thing that you see when niggas open up, which is bullets, you know, all, you know, shattered glass all over the place, you know, 100 bullet holes all over the car door. Like, these shots were very specifically placed. Whoever was shooting tight groups. I don't know if it was niggas that was hired to do the hit or not, because usually niggas don't aim that well. All I know is whoever was shooting was aiming for whoever was in the backseat of that fucking Cadillac, point blank. And, I mean, they hit her ass hard, okay? Now, a lot of people have been saying that generally females don't get, you know, even when, you know, they're killed by like an ex-lover or a jealous simp, generally they don't come for them that hard. You know, it might be a bullet to the head, or, you know, well, maybe if it's a knife, but generally if they firing shots, you know, niggas are cowards anyway. So they only gonna fire enough shots, you know, to try to get whoever they're shooting at, and then they're gonna drive away. But these motherfuckers emptied whole clips into that car, into a very specific area on the window. You don't see too many bullet holes all over the place, so that means they were shooting tight groups, or they were completely missing that motherfucker. And if they was right up on it at the intersection, you know they had to hit it. Well, the point is this. The working theory is that this had to do with, you know, her choice to be a thug thot. You know, I often have, you know, these weave rats fall into 2 categories. A thot bot, which is usually a promiscuous hood rat whore that's not, you know, is usually a baby mama, but not necessarily, you know, she might hang around the criminal element, but she's not necessarily involved in criminality, or at least not hard criminality herself. You know, she might do some shoplifting, stuff like that, but she's not into, like, you know, running with crews that are like carjacking and robbing motherfuckers. And then on the other hand, I have the violent weave rats that I call the thug thoughts. They're a step up above. You know how, Tommy used to talk about the ED 109s and the BT 2000s and 3000s and all that goofy shit. Well, this bitch was a thug thought if these allegations against her were true. Okay? Now, the reason why I bring this up, and I mesh it together with, the travesty that's happened with me over the last week, and forgive me because wind is blowing. I might have to get back. Get back in the hotel room, but I really didn't want to do that because the walls are very thin. Unfortunately, of course it would be a cheap fucking motel that they would put us up in, but go fucking figure. So I decided to just take a little walk. But because I meshed this together with what I was dealing with, and how mad this bitch was making me, and how I was regretting every moment of this, even thinking about all the money that I was gonna make, and how annoyed I was about this little 19-year-old bitch, and she was average, a little skinny black ass bitch, long weave wearing ass bitch. I mean, she wasn't nothing much to look at. I'm not gonna say she was ugly, dolled up at the club. I could, with them stupid ass fake eyelashes them bitches be wearing, I could see how, she could be kind of cute, with 5,000 pounds of paint on her face. But the reason why I bring this up is because I realized something after this experience that I already realized about myself, but now I'm starting to walk down another sort of rabbit hole where I'm getting a new epiphany about this whole dating game piece. Okay? Because again, when you not only look at the shit that I've been through, and a lot of men have been through, but this case with, what happened to this now very dead bimbo in Atlanta, and you notice she was up to something, because usually the simps and the feminists come out the woodworks to defend these bitches, with very little pushback. But I seen an unusual number of people, both male and female, mostly all of them black, but both male and female, that have been pushing back against this notion that she was completely innocent. So when this many niggas, especially hood niggas, are pushing back against shit like this, you gotta know that something is up. Okay? So, the thing is, for her to be killed, let's go with the most popular theory, that she was killed because she set some dude up and may have gotten him killed or hurt. And she was setting niggas up anyway, even if she didn't get niggas killed, right? For that to for her to be killed because of that means that a series of dudes had to look at her Instagram photos and look at her, in the club, Allure or whatever, and look at her on her OnlyFans, and look at her, on her Facebook or wherever the hell else this bitch was. And they had to be, simping after this bitch, and, just salivating over this bitch like she was a piece of steak, for them to be drawn into a snare trap, what they call it, the honey trap, to be drawn into the trap of this bitch. I guess she was a trap queen too, and on top of being a setup queen, to even get set up in the first fucking place. Okay? Because if you're a grown man, okay, even if you're gonna do the whole thing, the paying for pussy thing, you should always know this common sense. You tell the bitch to come to you. That way you can control the perimeter. Okay? You can control the scene. You can control the environment. Okay? When she comes, you can look out, assuming that you have, a doorbell camera, or you can even look out your windows and see that there's no one else around but her. Plus, you can have a gun or something on you in case somebody try to rush in your place behind her. Okay? When you go to a second location, you don't know what the fuck is waiting on you on the other side. Okay? So my thing is, number one, a lot of guys are dumb. That's number one. Number two, a lot more guys are simps. And hence thus, number three, that's the only way shit like this continues to happen. Incidentally, before I get to the point that I'm actually trying to make here, it's that, and I said this to a brother in email, but I think I said this to you guys a couple of times. This, once again, just proves niggas do not have to do the passport for pussy thing and go their dumb black asses down to the Amazon 3,000-4,000 miles away from the United States just to get their stupid asses drugged, robbed, kidnapped, beat up, and killed. Okay? There are plenty of scandalous ass, sketchy ass bitches right here that'll, set your ass up and get you caught up on some bullshit. Okay? You ain't gotta go all the way down there for that bullshit. Okay? These bitches here, they don't even use scopamine. They'll just have niggas come in, rush in on you with brute force. Some cheap ass fucking motel. How many dudes have been killed or have gone to prison killing somebody over some shit like this? Now, a lot of people are saying that this bitch got exactly what she deserved. And I have no sympathy. I don't give a fuck as far. I wouldn't have cared if a bitch died in a car accident. Would have just been another, Tales of the Lost Thought, another Thoughtopsy series to me. But my thing is, why, if this bitch had a reputation, and some of you may have noticed, I asked the same exact fucking question. I asked the same exact question on the community post. If this bitch had such a reputation of setting dudes up, because from what I understand, whatever she had been involved with had happened multiple times. It had happened over the course of 3 weeks. Everybody was talking about it behind the scenes. Okay, everybody knew who this bitch was, who was doing the setup shit, yet she was still able, the manager and the owner of this club and her coworkers allowed her to come back to this club and continue performing, okay, knowing that some of those dudes that she was leaving the club with was getting set up, robbed, and possibly even murdered, okay? I guess they had a no snitch policy until finally somebody got tired of it and killed her motherfucking ass. But here's my question. Okay. If dudes know, because see, now people are saying, well, it might have been a female that shot her. I seriously doubt it. I think the way she got lit up, I'm almost 100% certain that the trigger man or trigger men, because they said it was at least 2 shooters. I guess because they found 2 different calibers of ammunition or shell casings on the ground. But the shooters were almost certainly dudes, okay? And if she's known for setting up guys, even though she was beefing with some random raggedy bitch from the Caribbean that used to be her friend, but that was all the way back in February. I heard she was from Guyana or something like that. No, that's down in South America. I heard she was originally from Guyana and she was beefing with some bitch from over there. But she's well known for setting up dudes, so why would it be anybody else that came to get her? Now here's the thing. He may have given this bitch precisely what the fuck she deserved. But if he can't keep that shit on the low, and especially if this is a conspiracy, because niggas do shit dumb, okay? If this was a conspiracy of more than one person that did this, like police and a lot of people believe, okay? Say this was an organized hit, that would involve at least 3 people, okay? Unless some dude got together with one of his guys and say, hey, let's go get this bitch. Or she played both of us, let's go get this bitch, okay? So there's a conspiracy. So the chances of whoever did this getting away with this are slim to none. And if they get caught in the state of Georgia, no matter how scandalous and sketchy this bitch was, her family members, her friends, other little thoughts, they gonna come crying a ball of tears like these bitches typically do, playing the victim, acting like she was one of 12 disciples of fucking Christ, okay? So this person, whoever did this, is in a lot of trouble. Even if they leave town, okay? Police gonna be looking for this motherfucker. They ain't gonna never stop looking for him, okay? If police find out who did it and issue a warrant and they flee the state, then the FBI is gonna get involved, okay? This person literally has to run and keep it on the down low for the rest of their fucking life. And if they get caught in the state of Georgia and they're a black male, they're definitely going to prison for life, okay? Now, the reason why I bring this up is because the question that has to be asked is it worth it? The sensible answer, and almost everybody in earshot of me that has been listening to me for a long period of time knows this, the sensible answer is no. It most definitely is not fucking worth it dealing with these scandalous ass whores, especially these fucking club thoughts, because from sexually transmitted diseases, like that bitch that had AIDS that was fucking around with Nick Cannon and Chris Brown, to these drugged and robbed Cardi B type fucking whores. The truth of the matter is, you don't know what the fuck you're getting when you deal with these fucking bitches. Okay, you don't know what the fuck you're getting, and you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get. Okay, so I came to a realization between this motherfucking little goofy ass 19-year-old thought that was getting on my fucking nerves. I'm not gonna even say, like I said, the thoughts that were going through my mind, but between this dumb asshole and this particular incident, okay, that happened in Atlanta, I realized something. And a lot of guys, a lot of black men aren't gonna like this. You know how they say that some things are just not for everybody? You know, like, say you have a specific job, you know, like a dude that's like an inspector of like a pollution control technician or something like that. People who go down into the sewers and, you know, like test, you know, take like water samples, you know, to see how toxic the water is, you know, underneath business or, you know, in a specific city or something. That's not for everybody. People who travel with the circus and perform circus acts, that job ain't for everybody. You know, stuntmen in the movie, that job ain't for everybody. Well, you know, I just realized something. And again, a lot of men ain't gonna like this. A lot of men, because of their egos and their dicks, they're not gonna be able to accept this, what I'm about to say. I've come to realize that women aren't for everybody. Dealing with the female human being isn't for everybody. Okay? The cold hard fact is, a lot of dudes don't know how to manage their emotions and their feelings when they're dealing with these dumbass bitches. Okay? If you're the type of dude, and I've had dudes like Minister Jap. Minister Jap literally told me when he was beefing with this female, this hood rat female on here. Well, she named herself after a country in North Africa. She literally told me, he literally told me that he would put hands on a female if, you know, she made him upset enough. And I said to him, I said, guy, it's not worth going to jail for. It's not worth going to prison for. It's not worth having a felony on your record for domestic violence. It's not worth it. So why don't you, you know, if females affect you that much, okay, why would you deal with them at all? See, a lot of dudes, y'all may recall, not too long ago, there was a guy, and he killed his long-term girlfriend. They had been dating for like 2 years. I think this was up in, I think actually it was right here in Wisconsin somewhere. But she was like this light-skinned broad. And this dude had gotten out of prison for something. I forget what it was. And once he got out, he had been out for 5 years, met this chick, started dating her. You know, he claimed in a video after he killed her, brutally, he claimed, he listed all the reasons as to why he killed her, why he snapped. And when you listen to this dude, he's not like going off like some crazy fucking pookie. Like, he's very well mannered, but he speaks with proper diction, and he's completely calm. Like, he settled down after killing the hoe. And I looked at this dude, and he seemed so intelligent. This was an older gentleman, you know, like probably in his 40s and in his 50s, and he speaks with, you know, his intellect was, you know, at a level where you could tell he was not a pookie type. Okay, so I was scratching my head looking at this dude's video, because he's putting his face up there like, you know, he's about to turn himself in. And I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, guy, if you knew, because he was listening, he was talking about how he warned this bitch not to fuck with him. He didn't say it like that, though. He said it in a much calmer tone. And y'all know how I can go off on these whores and these niggas, but I ain't never hurt a fly. See, that's what I was trying to say. People thought I was trying to save face because I was scared of, you know, the FBI, whatever. No, I've always been like this, because if I wasn't, I know I would have killed or hurt somebody a long time ago. No matter what comes out of my mouth, no matter how vicious I sound, okay? I have never hurt a fucking fly. And I have stood by that in the 7 years that I have done this. Why? Because no matter how angry I am, okay, I manage my emotions. I find other ways to channel my anger and other forms of negative energy. Okay? If you don't know how to do that, you have absolutely no fucking business dealing with none of these cunts. Not only not for relationships, because see, that's where the rubber stops meeting the road with a lot of these niggas. I'm talking about all the way down to contracting out to one of them bitches for sex, okay? You have no business going near any one of these bitches, okay? Given the nature, you know, that fucking narcissistic, conceited, airheaded nature of a lot of these bitches, especially the ones that are young and in their sexual prime, okay? If you can't deal with the immature, bratty, whorish, disrespectful, mouthy attitude and mentality of these bitches, okay? If you one of those type of dudes that know you'll go from 0 to 60 in about 2.3 seconds, why would you put yourself knowingly in a situation where somebody like that is going to provoke you? This is one of the many reasons why I chose a life of solitude, because I realized being around certain people is dangerous for me for several reasons, okay? And one of those reasons is because it could wind up being dangerous for them, and in turn putting me in some type of limbo that I'm not trying to be in, okay? So the best thing for me to do is just to retreat to my little corner and just, you know, go on about my life and find other things to occupy my time. Trust me, guys, it's like trying to switch from eating a meat diet that's high in carbs to becoming a vegetarian. Once you start doing it, you will find it's not so much leaving, you know, the female, leaving the bitch and her pussy. It's finding other things to alternatively occupy your time and help you enjoy life. There are other things in life. And hey, if you need sex, there are alternatives, okay? A lot of guys don't want to even consider these alternatives because they have this ego that won't allow them to admit that, hey, you know, I may have to bang a doll. Hey, I may have to beat off in the shower, you know, to get my fucking rocks off, okay? If you're the type of dude that knows that you'll wrap your hands around the throat of a bitch and squeeze it until her fucking eyeballs pop out. If you're the type of dude that knows that, you know, you'll pick up a gun and pistol whip or worse to a bitch if she does you dirty, hey dude, I got news for you. Overriding majority of these bitches will either do you dirty or talk to you disrespectfully, okay? Overriding majority of them, okay? So apparently this was some dude or a series of dudes that couldn't handle the fact that they fell for the honey trap that the trap queen had set, okay? They thought that they was going to go somewhere around a corner and get a piece of ass, and they wound up, you know, getting a muzzle of a gun shoved in their face and robbed of their wallet, you know, their chain, their phone, whatever, maybe their car, right? And then this bitch was audacious enough after setting niggas up to go back to the same club. Truth be told, she could have been killed anywhere. But they decided to, you know, kill her in dramatic fashion at this intersection. But this was somebody that could not handle, like I have handled. They could not handle being disrespected in that way, or the fact that, you know, some friend or relative get disrespected, you know, in that way. So they decided to retaliate. But see, once again, now you got your revenge, this big booty thought, and, you know, I can't lie, it is what it is, you know. She was a scandalous ass bitch and looked like a criminal ass bitch. I even heard that she may have been under investigation for being part of a robbery crew. You know, last year, Atlanta, they issued a warning about armed robberies in Bucktown and a connection to the nightlife district and the clubs down there. That, you know, crews were running around, driving around, targeting people. But look, if you know that you cannot deal with that, if you know that you can't deal with that, then why would you put yourself in that situation in the first fucking place? Because now you got to run and be a fugitive for the rest of your fucking life. Okay? They gonna work hard and they likely gonna find out who did this. This is what David Carroll meant when he said, niggas can't see the forest for the motherfucking trees. Think, brothers, think. Okay? Sit down and really evaluate. Let's stop talking about all this dumb shit that doesn't amount to a goddamn thing, like this so-called fucking gender war and black men get your passports and all that stupid shit. Let's sit down and evaluate you. Because remember what I said? I said that a lot of people, they cannot have good relationships with other people because they don't have a good relationship with their motherfucking self. So sit down and evaluate the situation. Okay? Am I a person that can handle high levels of disrespect? Me personally, I have been disrespected on levels that I cannot even describe. And see, everybody thinks that's funny. Everybody thinks it's funny, online and off, when somebody, gets fucked with, right? And it seems like they don't retaliate right away until you hear of one of these active shooter situations, or until you hear of some dude killing his girlfriend or his wife and his children, or shooting up his workplace. It's all funny until bullets start flying. Okay? But see, if you know you're that type of dude that will cross that line, if you know you're that type of dude, why do you deal with society and people anyway? Even if you know that you have serious thoughts about shit like that, okay? Why don't you find other things to occupy your time so that it doesn't go to that level? I mean, I just don't understand why put yourself in that situation. As I've explained before, for a lot of people that do content creation, especially this type of content creation, it's not for likes, clicks, and views, although we do appreciate the support. A lot of what we do is not only to help others, but it's self-therapy, okay? I had a lot, when I first came on here, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of rage, okay? I had a lot of things going on inside of me, and I didn't quite know initially how to channel them, okay? Life is a tough thing to live, and, people can be real fucking dirtballs and scum, especially these females, but a lot of these dudes too. And I'm talking about of all races, okay? You have to, first of all, you have to find how to manage that stress that you and that those other feelings that you feel, okay? For me, it was, expressing myself using my First Amendment right, which is why I was so adamant and still am about black men defending their First Amendment right, okay? And then you have to find out how to minimize new levels of stress being added to that vicious cycle, okay, that's building up inside of you. I found both. And that's why, even to this day, people still get on my motherfucking nerves, and I despise these whores and the simps, these clown-ass simps that, lap up after them, and other forms of society that I don't want to be bothered with. I found a better, more effective way of rechanneling that energy into something that is, I won't even say more positive, but constructive, okay? I mean, you out here dumb as hell, thinking that you're some type of player, getting with these fucking hoes. And like I said, man, one thing I can't take from this, because the bitch has so many different aliases. Tavi Brody was one of them. Fucking, what was this bitch's real name? Tisha Bruley, and then Tisha Brody. She had like 3 different aliases that all started with the first name started with the letter T, and the last name started with the letter B. And as far as I'm concerned, there's a 4th with T and B called The Bimbo. But it's like, she was fine. I can't take that from the hoe. She was fine, okay? I don't know if that was natural. I don't know if it was surgery. It's hard to say. To me, It looked like she was natural, but she was fine. But but the word was already on the street that the bitch was a setup queen. She was a trap queen. Okay? She was a scandalous ass, criminal ass, thug thought bitch. So I don't know if this was one of her first victims or somebody that came later, if these allegations against her are true. Okay? And too many people are saying the same thing. But if you know you that type of dude that a killer hoe or somebody else, if they disrespect you or play you or otherwise, violate you, then why would you put yourself in that situation where something like that could potentially happen? Because now you got to run for the rest of your life, nigga. And if they catch you, you going behind bars and you about to be a bimbo for somebody else. I don't know, man. I don't know how niggas think. I guess I'm just different in the head. I don't know, man. Y'all gonna keep doing what y'all want to do. All I can say is don't let these raggedy ass, fucking scandalous ass bitches get you caught up, man. They are not worth your time, money, effort, life, or freedom. And if you ain't figured that out by now, then I don't know what can help you. Over and out.